It's time to dance, folks. The first ever non-football related episode of Just Beavin. We had to do it. It's March. We got the bracket here. We're ready to roll. Drew's going to share our bracket here in a minute. You see us on our screen, Andy, Drew, JP. Fellas, the best time of the year. For those who don't know, obviously, we love football more than anything, but we're also major fans of college basketball. This weekend coming up, we're recording Wednesday night, so we're getting this in right at the buzzer. This is, guys, probably the best sports weekend. Not probably, it is the best sports weekend in the year. We start off tomorrow. Just vibes. How are we feeling? This is an exciting time, the sports calendar.
Yeah, ready to make my picks and show off my perfect bracket. I'm ready to win that Nissan car at the end of the year. So yeah, I feel pretty good.
Let's do it, B. How are we doing, man?
I'm feeling pretty good, but we start off the day tomorrow with Creighton versus Louisville. And being a teacher, I'm gonna miss 45 minutes of that game. I'm not too
Tough.
happy, but hey, my prep time starts at 2 o'clock, so you know what I'm doing during my prep. I'm not grading papers. I ain't prepping for my lessons on Friday. I'm just watching March Madness all day, baby.
There we go. Let's get that bracket up, shall we? And like I said, I had to have the paper one here. It's just good for me to have this and be ready to roll. And we're just going to go right through it. So how we're going to format this for those watching and listening, we're going to go round by round. I know some people are region by region. We're going to do round by round. And obviously we have to take our intermission. So we're going to do two separate recordings. We'll start here with the round of 64, depending on how long that takes. We will split it up however we see fit. Guys, we start in the South region. The 1 versus 16, I don't think we're going to have to spend much
I already flicked
any
through it.
time talking about it. Yeah, Auburn over Alabama State. Uh, this Auburn team, we'll talk about it more as everything goes along. There's a lot to like, and we'll get into that later in the region. Drew, you talked about this game. It's the very first game we get tomorrow, and it's a great one. Louisville, Creighton, a lot to be said. Louisville probably should have been seeded a bit better. And Creighton, though, they have the ability to come in, with Ryan Kalkbrenner, Stevie Ashworth. It's a good squad as well. When we talk about 8-9 matchups, obviously by seeding usually the best matchups in each region. JP, I want to start with you here. This has the potential to be a top 5 game in the entire round of 64.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus opinion. And even just looking at it at face value, I fully agree with that. Now, here's the problem. Whenever these games are supposed to be the best games of the tournament, they always end up flopping. And
Yeah.
so I'm really trying to tamper my expectations with that. But with that said, I know it's the popular pick right now. And when the bracket first came out, it wasn't when I had initially went through my first run of brackets. But at this point in time, it is the favorite in the bracket with 57% of the picks being Louisville. I am also going to be picking Louisville in this matchup.
Beeve, who are you siding with?
Yeah, just seeing Pat Kelsey's reaction, I think they're gonna have a little spark in them. I think they're going to win this game. I think Edwards and Chucky have a good game here. But I was telling JP a couple days ago, I love this Creighton team. They're a team that could score 55 points, or they're a team that could score 85 points. You just never know with this Creighton team. They're very inconsistent. But I think that inconsistent team is going to come out on tomorrow morning, and I think the Cardinals are going to come out tomorrow.
Yeah, I got Louisville as well. You took the words right out of my mouth. I think they're going to be playing with some fire in the way they were seeded. The ACC in general, not really treated well in the bracket. We can talk a little bit more about North Carolina when we get there. That was a whole controversy as well. This next game Louisville across the board. I want to start with Michigan, UC San Diego. There is so much to be said about this game, only because of a key stat that has come up. Obviously, for those who follow closely, Michigan's got their two bigs, Golden and Wolf, and UC San Diego doesn't have a guy. Is it 6'7" or 6'10", JP, their tallest starter? I think it's 6'7", right?
6'7".
Yeah, they're a tiny team. So in theory, you look at the size of Michigan, they played really well in the Big Ten tournament. A lot of people were out on Michigan a couple weeks ago. Now they're getting back in based on how they played there. But you look across the Big Ten, and we'll talk about them when we get there. Purdue being a 4, Wisconsin being a 3, Michigan, getting to the title game in the conference and winning it. They're seated lower than those two teams. But the thing with UC San Diego, they are really good at generating turnovers. Michigan, I think they're 328th in the country in their turnover ratio. They turn the ball over. They're careless with the basketball. That's the only reason why people are looking at this game thinking it might be tougher than it is. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm taking Michigan. They're the better basketball team in terms of what we've seen. But it's just that's what's tough about these mid majors, these smaller D1s. You do never know. That's why I'm saying I'm taking the Wolverines, but I will not be surprised if UC San Diego makes this a game and it is tight at any point, just because of that turnover stat. And I know it's bad to look at the analytics because those can consume you in a bracket setting like this. That's why I personally am not choosing to overthink it. I'm taking the Wolverines, and I guess Drew, I'll give you the floor next for your pick.
Yeah, you said it right there, Yak. I'm gonna take the Wolverines as well. I'm not gonna overthink this. Danny Wolf and even I think he's a sleeper on this team. Trey Donaldson. They're coming in hot. They just won the Big Ten championship. I'm gonna pick the Wolverines to pass the Tritons here. I think they're gonna stay hot and make a little run. So
Yeah, I'd be when this all came out, I was all over UC San Diego. Not that I was against Michigan. I actually if anyone's actually familiar with our fantasy league Dade, at the start of the season, I said that Michigan and Maryland, in my opinion, were two of the best teams in the Big Ten. And I haven't really wavered away from Michigan being good. I just think this UC San Diego team, at one point, they were in that niche Ken Palm ranking where like they were one of the teams who were able to win the national championship, which you just don't see from mid majors. It just doesn't happen. Uh, I think the one thing that people are counting out though is yes, UC San Diego forces a lot of turnovers, and UC Irvine has a 7-footer as well, and they just beat UC Irvine handily. That's not the problem. The problem is they have 7-footer Danny Wolf who plays point guard. That's
Yeah.
the real problem. Is it's not just two 7-footers. It's a 7-foot nightmare matchup. I mean, they run a pick and roll with two 7-footers. UC San Diego switches literally everything. They play a lot of backside help, and that's going to lead to a lot of open threes. If Michigan is even shooting 30% from the three, I think this will be a double-digit win for Michigan. So I'm on the Michigan train as of right now.
you
All
know,
right,
I
well,
meant to add this in too. Is it just me, or is it looking like Vlad's got to like gain a couple more pounds? Like he's like a little more beefier, or is
I
that just
guess,
I
me?
mean, I'm sure he has. This part of
yeah.
getting older.
No, yeah, I know, but
Yeah, he's as a Michigan State fan, he annoys me as well, just like Trey Donaldson. Those guys are they're good in the big moments, and that's what you're going to need, obviously, in the tournament. This is an extremely popular upset pick as we head to the 4-13 matchup in the South, Texas A&M Yale. And I'll admit, part of my prep is obviously going through the research that I do, but also it's a different podcast, obviously through Barstool Sports, the Mark Titus Show. I listen to that show once a year, and that is when the bracket comes out, just because I like to hear other people's opinions and takes to see if I can kind of get where they're coming from. And obviously for me, guys, I was huge on Yale coming out of the gate on this because why wouldn't you be? They beat Auburn last year in the first round and all of those things. But I want to get your take, JP. We'll start with you on A&M, having Buzz Williams in as a 4 seed. I haven't watched a lot of A&M this year, but on Selection Sunday, I saw them as a 4, and I wasn't really sure if that was the proper spot for them to be.
Yeah, I've luckily bet a lot of games on or against A&M this year, so I've been forced to watch a lot of A&M basketball. I went through 3 stages this year on A&M. I was off of them early in the season. I believe when they played Ohio State was the first time that I had bet on an A&M game this season. So very early in the year. Then about halfway through the season, I convinced myself on A&M because they are the best offensive rebounding team in the entire nation. I mean, that alone can win you games. Then I watched them play against Texas in the SEC tournament, and that I love Wade Taylor. I truly am a big Wade Taylor fan, but my God, is he a shot chucker? I mean, it's bad, and so that worries me a lot. But I'm still taking the talent in the offensive rebounding. I'm not on Yale at all. They're the most picked 13th seed, and
Yeah.
that stat alone, if I knew nothing, if you blanked out the teams and just told me that this 13 seed was the most picked out of all of them, I wouldn't pick them anyways.
Because you want to fade the public, yeah.
And then knowing it's Yale versus A&M, I'm going with the offensive rebounding. I'm going with Wade Taylor. I'm going with who I know is the best player on the court, even though that what is his name, Pulakunis or
Yeah,
Pulakunis?
I think so. Yeah.
He's from the
Yeah,
suburbs. I
Poladukas.
forget
Yeah, I
which high
know.
school.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna roll with A&M here.
Beav, are you riding that train as well?
I also am riding that trade. I'm gonna pick him on our bracket, but I'm with JP. I don't like how I've always wasn't a Yale fan. I don't like either how everyone's all over Yale in the public, and I think how last year everyone was on McNeese saying they're gonna be the team that makes that spark. I think this is Yale this year. I think they're gonna be the team that gets blown out by 15 plus, and it's just gonna be a nasty game, and A&M's wipes the floor in this game.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. Like I said, I listened to the Mark Titus show, and I like his takes on college basketball. Kind of just another person to hear talking other than thoughts in your own brain. And the way he phrased it, he referred to A&M as a rock fight type team. They're willing to get scrappy with you. Obviously, JP talked about Wade Taylor, who will just let it fly. But they're physical and they're aggressive when they need to be. And I think when you run that against an Ivy League squad like Yale, they are a good team. But I just think at the end of the day, it's not only does Texas A&M play a more physical and aggressive style, they're just more skilled and more talented. Sometimes you run into these smaller teams where they're not as talented, but they can beat you physically, or they could be a bit more aggressive down low. But when A&M's winning that battle as well, I find it hard to believe that Yale can pull this one off. So, like I said, our matchups are staying consistent. I'm gonna take A&M as well, and obviously from a programming standpoint, Drew's having our bracket here. I think what we decided is the majority. Obviously, 2 out of 3 of us are going to pick one over the other at the very least. So that's what we'll have here. But we're going to have different matchups after the round of 64. So once we get to the round of 32, we'll stay with what's on Beef's screen that he has shared with us. Ole Miss, North Carolina. A lot to say about this. North Carolina, the play-in game. Boat racing San Diego State last night. Not even close. And they have found themselves here, JP. I know you have a lot to say on North Carolina and then making the tournament. Your Hoosiers, along with West Virginia, getting hosed out of the tournament. First 4 out because North Carolina is in, despite having a 1-12 record against Quad 1 teams. And because of that, Beeve, don't worry, we'll start with you for some games. But just because this is North Carolina, I do kind of want JP to talk a bit more about them, with his Hoosiers being impacted by them making the tournament, and now they are in the dance after winning their play-in game last night.
Yeah, it certainly burned when I saw it happen. I mean, I was in fits of rage in our group chat when once I saw North Carolina in that playing game. I immediately said, I know Indiana's out now. And that's just, it's unbelievable that we're letting in a team with a horrible quad one record. My thing is, why are we even tracking quad wins if they're not going to impact anything? I understand the net ranking. I understand the Ken Palm ranking. I understand, they take all of that stuff. The non-conference strength of schedule that they didn't win any games in. I mean, that stuff's just infuriating. And they have great Ken Palm and a great net rating. But my thing is, why is Ken Palm of something being considered? It's an outside source. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that the NCAA is like legitified. It's not legit
Right.
to the NCAA. It's an outside source. So I don't know why that, if they would give its accreditation, then I would be okay with using it as a resource. But I just don't understand why we're tracking quad one wins if we're not going to use them to measure anything. Now, with all that said, I immediately said in my second group chat after UNC made the bracket that they're going to beat SDSU and they're going to beat Ole Miss, because that's exactly what's going to happen. No one thinks that it's going to happen, so that's exactly what's going to happen. They don't deserve to be in, so they're going to prove it to everybody. I'm going with UNC.
All right. I'll do my pick next, and this is where we have our first differing opinion. So, Drew, you will be the tiebreaker on who advances in the Just Beavin bracket in front of us here. I'm on Ole Miss. I did watch them in the SEC tournament, and I really liked what I saw. Didn't get to watch a ton of them this year in general. My viewing mostly consists of the Big Ten. Obviously, we're all Big Ten guys. I'm a Michigan State fan, and oddly enough, I ended up watching a lot of the Big East this year when there wasn't Big Ten basketball to be watched. So, not a ton of SEC. Caught up with stuff in the tournament, and I just really liked what I saw out of Ole Miss. I think North Carolina's fraudulent, but like JP said, of course, that's just how the tournament works. They're bound to win multiple games because they didn't deserve to be here in the first place. Because I think a lot of people are thinking that this is all mental too. This is all logic, guys. You got to try and flip it however you see fit. I'm just going to take the Rebels. I like what I saw from them in the SEC tournament. Sometimes the eye test is enough for me. So, Drew, with that being said, 1-1 right now. Who will be advancing in the Just Beavin bracket in front of us here?
I hate this game because there's two things. If we're looking at coaches aspect, Chris Beard, phenomenal coach, probably a top 10, not probably, he is a top 10 coach in this league. And then you look at Hubert Davis, he's by far one of the worst coaches in the Power Five. I mean, there's no debate. Awful coach. And one of our OD said it. Shout out Brady. He said it looked like Hubert Davis ran a marathon after halftime yesterday. But anyways, I got UNC here. I love Ole Miss. Them being a 6 seed, they got screwed here. They're such a veteran team. I love Padula at point guard. He's got that swagger. But like JP said, I think it's UNC here. I mean, RJ Davis, they got the talent, Seth Trimble, Cadeau. I don't like this team, but like JP said earlier, it's just one of those games where they shouldn't be in this tournament, but they're going to advance because that's what everyone thinks. They think they're going to get steamrolled here, but this is how it works. They're going to advance and they're going to beat Ole Miss tomorrow. Or do they play? I don't know. Whatever tomorrow or
You play
Friday, I don't know
Friday.
when they play.
They play
But
Friday.
they're gonna beat Ole Miss by 10 plus. I guarantee it. I saw the spread today. It came out at 1.5.
UNC's
North
favorite
Carolina.
1.5. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think that's
how is
fair.
that?
I think it's fair.
I mean,
It's a 6 versus 11 seed, man.
I mean,
Saying
it's
the 11 seed's favored by a point's crazy.
that
I'm
that's
just saying
pretty.
it's close to a pick 'em. I think it's fair. It's close to a pick 'em because just
I don't
that's
know.
once again that's how Vegas operates though. Everyone's going to be hot on North Carolina because of how they looked earlier. I just feel like I'm just saying more or less. Obviously,
See,
Ole Miss should be favored.
that's where our minds. This is exactly what you said because you said everyone's going to be hot on North Carolina because they just played and looked good. And my thought process is everyone is going to be on Ole Miss because they still think UNC had a fraudulent win.
It's all where your mindset's at. So
Yep.
that's interesting. All right, North Carolina advancing.
Yeah, I'm going
You got
UNC
anything else,
here.
Drew? Okay.
No, just a weird game. I feel bad for Chris Beard. I think this is his last game of Ole Miss too. I think he's gone. You know, there's rumors that he might take the Iowa job, but I think Ole Miss is better than Iowa, and I love the Big Ten. But
Yeah,
that's just me.
I think he'd be a fool to leave Ole Miss for Iowa personally.
Yeah, I do too.
Unless I'm missing
I
something.
think for some reason I see it in my head where A&M is going to fire Buzz Williams, and I think they give Chris Beard that job.
Well, here's my thought too. That we're on Ole Miss. No way he'd take the Villanova job too, right? It's Ole Miss better than Villanova.
He's not even going to get offered that job.
Okay, thought I'd ask you guys that. So
I don't think he's just not a Villanova guy.
no, yeah, I get that, but they were a prestige program, so I didn't know if that fits his criteria or not. So, but yeah, North Carolina here I got. So moving on to
Iowa State Lipscomb. I don't really have much on this one, guys. I don't know if either one of you do. Feel free. I'm taking the Cyclones, and
I'm with the Cyclones, but Drew's been all over Lipscomb. Who I just want to. The one thing I will say is they are the most picked 14th seed, and so they're not winning this game.
And I think, and Drew and I talked about this yesterday. The reason why I think they are the most picked 14. This is no discredit to Iowa State. I just think Iowa State is the worst of the 3 seeds. In my eye, I'm trying to rationalize why that's the case. Everyone must.
I just think everyone saw that Gilbert injury and is like, oh my gosh, this Iowa State team is so horrible. I mean, they lost to BYU by 3 points, who was one of the hottest teams in the country in the Big 12.
And don't even get me started.
They've had injuries all year, and they're still a 3 seed. Iowa State is a very, very good basketball team. People are just writing them off because of the injury. And I get it. You lose one of your top players, like it's okay. But the rest of the team they're still a good team. It's just an unfortunate injury.
Hey, shout out to the TJ though, announcing after the brackets revealed that Gilbert's out the rest of the year. Smart by him. Yeah. I mean, I don't know
the seed line.
Yeah, I don't know what podcast or clip I was watching, but they're saying the same thing happened in Cincinnati in 2002 when they were really good and they lost their best player. He went number 1. I don't know who it was. It was in 2002. And they went from they were the best team in the country and they dropped to a 2 seed or some I don't remember who it was, but Kayshawn Gary maybe. Does that sound right?
I was born in 2002. I mean
I don't know. But anyways, I'll talk a little bit on Lipscomb. I think it's going to be a very high scoring game. Similar to that BYU Iowa State game in the Big 12 tournament. Lipscomb has 5 players that shoot over 38% or not 38%, 35% from the 3. And they've made 10 threes in 79% of their games. So I really like this team. Their spread tomorrow is at 15.5, I believe. 14.5, something around there.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points for a team
I'm hammering Iowa State. That's a hammer Iowa State, bro.
You know, I like Lipscomb to cover here. If they get the hot hand, they start shooting well. I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but the same can be said for any of these 14 or 15 seeds.
No, I agree. I think this team's the most fun of what I've seen so far. So I don't know. That's all I got.
Are you taking them legitimately for the bracket?
If I'm being honest,
if you're gonna talk all this,
you've given us a lot of content
here. Yeah,
I really want to take it, but JP's point earlier, like I was mentioned, but he mentioned it. They're the most picked 14 seed, which I do not like. And nothing against Iowa State.
To be fair, look at the other. So the other 14s in the West, University of North Carolina, Wilmington, they might be one of, if not the worst team in this entire tournament, like outside of the 16s. That is
Yeah.
an abysmal team to watch play basketball. Who are the other 14s? Troy. They got Kentucky. I'm shocked they're not the most picked 14.
I also
You know
saw
what
a
Kentucky
stat
is?
today
And
where
Montana.
I don't remember what exactly the stupid logistics of it were. It's just some TikTok stat, but the guy broke it down or whatever, and Texas Tech and Iowa State fall into that category where that whatever the 3 versus the 14 and whatever other factors were into it, the 3
Texas
seed
Tech is being
covers.
vulnerable.
No, 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 no. They
Oh,
cover the spread like they've done it 27 out of the last 29 times in the tournament. And so
not looking
that's
good.
just another reason I'm all over Iowa State. And again, the public, it's the most bet 14 seed. Everyone's thinking because Gilbert's out. I mean, your best player's out, you're still a 15.5 point favorite. That's a hammer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be the 3-14 to keep an eye on. Guys, this matchup, if you could see the matchup below it, this matchup is important for me as a fan to keep an eye on. I love the 7-10s this year, minus one of the 4 matchups. The 7-10s are fantastic. They are great, great basketball games. This is a Friday night game at 6:25. 7 seed Marquette, 10 seed New Mexico. We're gonna have, and JP said this before we hit record, and I agreed with him. For me, there are going to be about 6 to 7 round of 64 games. I could change my pick when I wake up tomorrow morning. I really don't know. And I think this one falls into that category for me. Beaver, I'll let you start here. I haven't let you start lately with picking games and giving your thoughts.
Yeah, for
Marquette, New Mexico. This is in Cleveland, too. Keep in mind, I'm just talking travel here. A lot less distance for Marquette to travel. Does that at all pay effect?
Really how I'm looking at this game is you got to look at who's the better player in this matchup. Is it Dent on New Mexico or is it Cam Jones? And uh, in our league, Zippy, big Marquette fan, shout out to him. I just like I said about Creighton, this Marquette team's very inconsistent. They can't shoot free throws. What are you laughing about?
No, continue.
I just read the text Andy sent us. That's all.
Oh, is that it? Okay, whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna go with New Mexico here because JP knows I'm a big fan of Dent on New Mexico, and I think they're gonna get the job done here. I don't know. It's one of those 50-50 matchups again. Like you said, you could change your pick in the morning. It just all depends what Marquette team's gonna show up. Is it gonna be the Marquette team that plays defense and scores, or is it gonna be the Marquette team that's very sluggish and doesn't care about basketball today? And also, I don't like Shaka Smart. I know I've said this in the past. Terrible coach in March. Awful. That's all I got.
All right. I will say with it's tough. I mean, because the one thing I'll point out with Marquette, I said I watched a lot of Big East, and obviously I follow Jake on Twitter, and I get just trending updates from him throughout the game. I don't even need to watch some Marquette games based on what he tweets out.
Jake Drew said before.
What's been a consistent theme, I think, from watching games and seeing what Jake puts out is this team can get off to some really slow starts. And I guess the same thing can be said for any team in this tournament. Oh, you get off to a slow start, you're in trouble. It's like, well, yeah, obviously, but this is one of those. It's a thing that happens frequently, more than I think Marquette would want it to. This is so tough. I'm leaning New Mexico right now, but I genuinely don't know. My pick for the sake of tonight, and I guess because it would be 2-1 at the least, we're having New Mexico move on. Donovan Dent is awesome. The guy is fun to watch play basketball, and I don't know. I really like this team, but it's just this is a coin flip matchup for me. I'm going to pick New Mexico for now. That could change tomorrow. I think as a fan, I want Marquette because I'd like to see Michigan State Marquette in the round of 32. But for some reason, I'm just feeling New Mexico. That's how I'm siding here.
Yeah, when the bracket first dropped, I thought this was going to be a tough matchup. I haven't picked New Mexico a single time. Give me Stevie Mitchell and Cam Jones. Cam Jones, Cam Jones, a top 3 player in this entire region. I understand the rest of the team is so lackluster, and I agree with Drew. Shaka Smart is not a good coach at March. But I genuinely, I can't even believe we're split on this one. I really thought we were going to sweep the board here with Marquette. I think Marquette's the much, much better team. Outside of Dent, I mean, Dent and Jones can go back and forth bucket for bucket all day. But in the end, give me Stevie Mitchell. He's going to be the 3rd best player out on that court. So give me Marquette in this one.
I do have a little bias on this too. And excuse my, I'm not even going to have to use that. But
no French. No French.
Yeah, no,
Family
that's right.
friendly.
Family friendly. That's right. Marquette has screwed me so much this year in the betting world, and I just can't forgive them after what they did to me. I think 2 weeks ago against St. John's. I mean, they missed a freaking free throw. No one's guarding you, and they cover the spread. And Stevie, this is why I hate Stevie Mitchell. He is so, and I don't care. Jake rips me apart for this. He's so inconsistent. And I told JP this. He like I don't know how to say this about being family friendly, so I'm not gonna say it. But anyways, it's like when he gets to the free throw line and there's like it's a game tying situation or to take the lead, he just starts like breaking down and doesn't know how to play basketball. It's like he's Kevin Durant from that one movie and loses all his magic. What's that one? What's that movie
Thunderstruck.
called?
Thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck. It's like he's like the Thunderstruck KD in the movie.
Shout out Ryan Newell.
That's right. But
yeah. So I guess for the sake of this, we're having New Mexico. I'm
Yeah,
dude.
send them through.
I'm so torn, bro. This is.
I literally
this is
had
so
to pick
hard.
New Mexico once, so
I know
mean, if
you
they
are.
win,
It's
this will be my
different.
best bracket.
Yeah, this is tough. This is tough.
all
We
right.
round out the South in the round of 64. I mean, I don't know how much you
there's
guys
much
want me to
about.
talk about.
The only thing I want to say is that Bryant and Omaha are tied for the most bets as the 15th seed.
Omaha doesn't shock me. Bryant
Doesn't shock me either.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Spartans. I have nightmares. We were in 8th grade, JP and I, the last time Michigan State was a 2.
Middle Tennessee, baby.
We were in class watching Middle Tennessee, Michigan State, and 13-year-old me was not having a good time. So I'm hoping that that doesn't happen again. I've told everyone, I'll tell you guys this too. If Michigan State, especially if they don't win the first game, if they don't make it out of the first weekend, I think someone would need to check in on me to make sure I'm doing okay. But especially the first round, I'm on like probably biggest crash out of my life alert if we.
Hey man, at least you're in the tournament.
I know.
Can't wait
Hey,
to get to my
JP.
team's game.
Yeah, it's tough. So all right, that's how we have the South. Let's go down to the West. This is a fun region as well. We're taking Florida.
Give us Florida.
Yep,
Norfolk,
Florida.
no one.
Nope, no
Okay.
takers.
right.
Guys, UConn, Oklahoma. How about this matchup here? Jeremiah Fears is a dog. UConn back-to-back national titles. A rough seeding for them. Obviously not the season they were looking for. Are you siding with a fun Oklahoma squad, like I mentioned, that is led by a guard of the abilities of Jeremiah Fears, or are we trusting Danny Hurley to get through the round of 64? JP, I'll start with you.
Yeah, this is one of those ones that's been keeping me up since the bracket dropped. I have no clue what to do on this one. Every single day, I tinker this game 3 to 4 times. I'm currently in the UConn phase of my tinkering, but I'm looking at it right now and something's telling me Oklahoma. So off no basis at all, purely just throwing it out there. I'm just gonna throw out UConn, and I'm gonna have nothing else.
Drew, you can advance the Huskies. I'm going to take them as well. I trust Danny Hurley, but yeah, man, I mean, this game could go either way. This is Friday. I'm happy this is Friday night because I don't know how much you guys have looked at each. I'm sure you've looked at the schedules for the first two. The 8 o'clock and beyond window on Thursday sucks.
Yeah, it's
really,
horrible.
really disappointing that, especially
really?
A lot of people are out of school. They're out of work. And that's what we get in the evening. Very disappointing.
Best game we get, I think, is the Michigan UC San Diego.
Yeah, I'd
That's
have
it?
to. Yeah, it's
I
bad.
mean, it's the best. It's at 9 o'clock, I believe, on Thursday.
Yeah, it's bad. So yeah, I'm taking UConn. It's at a good time on Friday night. I really won't be watching this game. I mean, I'll have it split up, but the Spartans play at 9, so I mean that's going to get my main TV focus probably around halftime of this game. But I'm on the Huskies. Like JP said, it could change, but for some reason, this one I have a feeling I'm going to stick with UConn in my main bracket. So, Beaver, are we going across the board here, or do we got Oklahoma?
Yeah, we're gonna go clean sweep here. I think UConn's got the better coach, better players. I mean, really, for Oklahoma.
I don't know if they have the better coach.
Really?
I don't know if they have a better coach. I don't know if Dan Hurley's that good of a coach, but that's
I
talk for a
go.
different time.
No, that is true. I go back and forth on two. Biggest crash out in this league, I'll tell you that. Biggest wine bagger, whatever you want to call him. He's as bad as Tom Izzo, I think.
Your Tom Izzo hate is insane.
It's so undeserved.
No, I like Tom Izzo.
Okay. No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You do not like Tom Izzo.
I do like Tom Izzo, but when he whines
from your
and cries,
burner,
are we gonna title this podcast an hour and a half of over Tom Izzo?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
This will
can.
be for those. This will be our longest pod for sure.
Oh,
We're really
easily.
diving in. Guys, we go 5-12. Drew, did you make your pick? You took UConn too. Or
Yeah,
who'd
I
you
took
pick?
UConn.
Okay, I
UConn.
was paying
Yeah, sweep
attention.
across the board. Oh, I love these
Guys,
matchups.
these are great. 5-12 Memphis, Colorado State. I'll start. I'm taking Colorado State. No Tyrese Hunter in this game, I believe, unless something's changed. That's the difference maker.
He's
I
not
mean,
playing.
PJ Haggerty's awesome, but I really, really like Colorado State here. They're my pick, and it's one of those things logically, right? You got to have upsets, as I'm writing this one into my bracket. You got to have upsets throughout as well. I just really like this team, and a loss of a guy like Hunter is huge. So I'm going to take Colorado State. BB, you
Beef.
want to jump in?
Yeah, I will. Sorry. I'm also gonna take the Colorado here. I just don't like Memphis out. Like you said, Haggerty's a good guy, good ball player, but I like Colorado. I think they got the better player. But the one thing that does scare me, I don't know if you saw this stat. You boys saw the stat. In the last 5 years, I think the Mountain West is like 3-17 in March in the
Yeah,
bracket.
when they're seated 10 or lower, it's like
Yeah,
4-26 or something.
it's really bad. So that does scare me. But
That
I
scares me
told
because I
Jay,
like the Mountain West teams that are in this tournament.
yeah.
That's what scares me.
So, but like I was telling JP a couple days ago, I hate this Memphis team. I don't know how they're a 5 seed, so overseeded. They should be realistically like a 7 or 8. Uh, they play in the freaking American, and granted, yeah, they had a good record, whatever. They got some good wins, but I mean, nothing against him. But when Dane Danger is your starting center,
Hey, Dane Danger's been like really
He's
good
been
this
good.
year.
Yeah,
no,
he's been good.
he's been good. I know. I'm not saying he's bad, but I mean, I don't know. I'm
I'd
not
rather
gonna
have Dane Danger than Coleman Hawkins.
see. That's just nonsense. That's a good debate, though. We can do that later. But I'm taking Colorado State here. I love the center. I don't know his last name. If I say his last name, I'm gonna get flamed by all my
You're taking the Rams. We'll
yeah.
keep it short and
Yeah,
simple.
just keep it the Rams. Yeah, go.
You're taking the Rams. I don't
I'm
really have
also
much.
taking Colorado State.
Oh,
Neat
I didn't have
Clifford
you pick them
is,
either. Yeah.
yeah, no, you're good. Neat Clifford is just as good as Haggerty. I think the difference truly lies in Dane Danger. I think he's going to have to not only play great, but he's going to have to dominate this game. I'm talking 25 and 15 on the boards, and he's going to have to shoot free throws. He's going to have to make free throws. And I hate to do it, like we just mentioned with the Mountain West stuff. And then on top of it, I know that I lost my train of thought. Just give me the Rams.
The Rams are the pick. We got rapid fire here to close out the West region. We head to Maryland Grand Canyon. I love this Maryland team. I know they
Ram
struggled
5,
against my
baby.
Spartans this year, but dude, Derek Queen is so awesome to watch play basketball. He is so much fun. And I think it's unfortunate Grand Canyon's a fun 13, but they just ran into a really bad 4. They got a tough draw, so I'm taking the Terrapins.
Yeah, give me the
So
Maryland. Give me the Crab 5.
I'm gonna take the Terrapins too, but I want to ask you boys this real quick. I know we're running short on time. I'm sorry, I'm a talker. If Grand Canyon's a 14 seed, can they beat any of the 3 seeds?
No.
Probably not. No.
Okay.
I
That was
don't love.
just
I don't really like any of the 14 through 16s this year, and I don't know if Grand Canyon would have made a difference.
Yeah.
My
I just
personal.
didn't.
I
I
agree.
I didn't know because they were on that fringe, so I didn't know if you thought they'd make a difference if they could beat like a Wisconsin or someone like them.
If they can't beat, I mean, if they're gonna be tough with Maryland, they're gonna have they would even
No,
have a
I
harder time with Wisconsin.
personally I think Maryland's underseeded, but that's just me. But okay,
Yep.
back to you, Yak.
Guys, I love this game right here, Missouri Drake. I think this will also fall into the category of keeping myself awake over these two. This is another one Drake's super popularly picked. I know they lost in their first round matchup last year when they were a pick that people loved. I think it happens to him again this year. I'm going to take Mizzou. But this is once again, I could wake up tomorrow and feel completely different. I'm trusting the SEC. They got 14 teams in the field, and it's at the end of the day, I'm just going to go with the Power 5. That's how I'm feeling. So I'm going to take the Tigers.
Yeah, Drake's the most bet 11 seed this year. Mizzou beat Florida. I mean, if you can run the pace with Florida and beat Florida at their own game, then you can run this. I mean, Drake is literally the slowest paced team in the entire country.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Yes.
I really,
Yes.
I
Yes.
really,
Yes.
I really, 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 really believe that Mizzou's going to control the pace of this game and probably run them out of the gym. It would not shock me at all to see Mark Williams and Caleb Groh combine for 50 points. So, give me. I've picked Mizzou in every single bracket, and I'm going to continue the trend now.
Beef.
We got another sweep across the board. We got the Tigers going across. I hate Dennis Gates as well. I actually hate him more than who did I say earlier that I hate? Oh, Shaka Smart. Is that who? I freaking hate him
Shaka Smart.
more than Dennis Gates.
Yep.
Bro is such a loser, clown, whatever you want to identify that man is. If I saw him at a parade or something, I'd go up to him and say, "You are the biggest
And
waste of
you'd punch
time."
him in the face.
I would not punch him in the face, but I'd tell him you are the biggest waste of time Mizzou's ever.
Wow.
Something like that. Okay.
All
Anyways,
right,
we
here we
gotta
go.
go. We gotta go.
Great coach, though.
I've already said this, so I'm sure this will be quick. This UNC Wilmington, is it Wilmington? Wilmingham?
Yeah,
Wilmington. They're terrible. They're actually terrible. I've watched
I love
their games.
Texas Tech.
They're so bad. And I mean, Texas Tech too, but they're just so bad. Give me Texas Tech. Easy.
Clean sweep.
Dude, this next one, Kansas, Arkansas. We get Bill Self, Coach Cal. We just have a couple minutes here before we hit our intermission. This is once again falls in the category going back and forth. I hate this Kansas team, but you look at the coaching as well. And Coach Cal, people have said, dude, if Coach Cal can get this team out of the first weekend, it'd be quite the coaching job, and it'd be quite the show up for Kentucky as well. JP, where are you looking here?
Yeah, I've been. First of all, my favorite stat to give that I've given it all show. Arkansas is the most picked 10 seed, so that automatically makes me lead towards Kansas. But I was on Kansas anyways. I like Bill Self. I've always liked Bill Self. I think he's a hell of a coach. I know people overrate him, but I think Cal's more overrated. And yes, I still am a Cal fan. But the big needle mover for me is Boogie Fland is coming back, and I think Arkansas's played
They're
better
worse with
without
him. They're worse with him on the
better
floor.
without
Yes,
him.
you took my point.
And so I'm going to roll with Kansas here. I'm taking the talent. If for somehow this Kansas team can put it together right now, it's going to be awesome. But either way, I'm taking Kansas.
All right, Eve.
I'm also taking Kansas. I had this. I'll make it quick. I had this short theory that Kansas was going to get blown out, and then Bill Self's going to give them like a resignation and whatever you call that, put his letter and say I'm leaving and go somewhere else, just like Calipari did. But I've told JP this multiple times. I think I've told you this, other people. I hate Calipari. I think he's a good coach, but like JP said, I think he's overrated. I don't hate the guy, but I just don't think he's as good as coach that people think. So I'm gonna take the Jayhawks. I think they got the better talent, better coach, and all that good stuff. I really love Hunter Dickinson.
That makes probably one out of the three of us. I hate Hunter.
You do not like Hunter Dickinson.
I do how he plays, but when he plays Illinois, I hate him. We dominate him.
So Kansas is the pick. I like JP bringing up that thought of Boogie Fland is good enough for me. And we're going to take St. John's. We'll talk more about St. John's in their second round matchup because there's a lot to go through there. We will hit a quick intermission. We get the East and the Midwest of the round of 64 coming your way next year on the Just Beavin podcast. All right, the East region round of 64 and what could be the longest ever installment of the Just Beavin podcast. Duke taking on the winner of American, and I believe that's Mount St. Mary's. Oh, Drew's got his hand.
Yeah,
yep.
Did they win?
I believe Mount St. Mary's is on the verge of punching their official ticket.
Congratulations to them. They get to lose to Duke by 35, if not more. That's our pick in the opening round.
I want to say Mount St. Mary's. Screw you guys because you got my boy Tobin Anderson. I want
Wrong
to
school.
Make sure it says name.
Oh wait, no, you're right because they beat Iona. I was about to say
Iona. Yep. They got my boy
Iona.
fired.
Tobin Anderson. He'll get back on his feet. He'll be good. Guys, I feel like out of the 8-9s, this is the 8-9 I'm having the easiest time with potentially. I really like Baylor. VJ Edgecombe. I always when in doubt when it's a matchup like this, I go to team with the young scorer, right? The guy who's going to be a lottery pick, potential top 10, I believe. I don't know. I don't follow really the NBA anymore, but I know he's a highly touted draft prospect. This is the first game we're going to get on Friday, and I have the Baylor Bears advancing. JP, I don't know if you're leaning that way as well, or if you're looking at the Mississippi State Bulldogs and licking your chops.
The most picked 9 seed is Baylor. Give me Mississippi State.
All right. Steve, you are the tiebreaker again. Where are we leaning?
I'm in like the middle here. you got Ex-Illini, RJ Melendez, made us go back on that run, and then he ended that run against Houston by giving us the waste of space technical that loser gave us to ruin the whole game. And then you got my boy Jeremy Roach, who I freaking love. Wow. Went
All
to
right.
dark mode. I didn't even know I could do that. All right.
It's always
Who's
an
the
adventure
pick?
with Beef sharing a screen. Who are you going with?
I'm going with Baylor.
All right,
I
so
like him.
Baylor
I like
advances.
Scott
I
Drew.
cannot. The only 9 seed picked more than the 8 seed. They are not winning this game, bro.
All right. But in the Just Beavin bracket, as we've now switched to dark mode, Baylor is advancing. Guys,
That's a terrible pick. I
Oregon.
cannot.
Yeah, JP's not a fan.
Not at
a
all.
fan. We get to see Drew's
Beef,
Google.
just leave it
here.
on dark mode.
Oh,
Damn it.
Drew.
All right.
All right. I know one of the members of this panel has strong feelings about this Oregon Liberty game. I was on Liberty until I realized their game consists of shooting as many threes as humanly possible. We do see that a team of high seed like that from time to time, or a team of a double digit seed where they'll enter the tournament relying on the three ball. If they're on that day, great. If they're not, they're going to get run out of the gym and lose by 20. Dana Altman's a good coach in March. He's found success even in situations where he may not
Never
have
lost in the first
may
round.
not have been there. Yet he's never lost in the first round. And for that reason, I'm taking.
Yeah, give me Bamba, give me Shelstad, and give me Biddle here. It's also in Seattle, so Liberty is going all the way across the country. Oregon is going literally an hour north. I'm hammering everything that has to do with the Ducks in this scenario.
And you mentioned Biddle. He's got the size advantage. I believe he's 4 inches taller than any starter for Liberty. So if that doesn't give it away, Drew is the panel member that is high on Liberty. Beav, are you going to pick them? Not that it matters. We have Oregon advancing here in our Just Beavin bracket.
Yeah, not as good on
But I'll give you a minute here to give your spiel on this game and who you're taking.
As JP knows, I'm a big Kansas State fan. I was watching the game in the airport when me and JP are coming back from California for spring break. They're up 10, Kansas State is. Then this guy I've never heard before named Caden Matheny. There's 5 minutes left. And I'm not even joking. Pulling up from the logo, like step backs, in guy's face. Went on like a 12-0 run by himself. And I'm like, and this is March. And I love this guy. Giving me flashbacks of Doug McBuckets. Doug Eddert. Is that his name? From St. Peter's?
Yep.
Anyways, guy sucks, but he gives me those vibes.
Doug McBuckets is Doug McDermott.
I know Doug McBuckets.
I know you're talking about Doug
McDermott.
Eddard. Yeah, Doug
I also knew he was talking about Doug Eddard, but
I know.
Dougie McBuckets is Doug McDermott.
I know, but I knew you guys would get my reference, but that's what this guy's vibes give me. And he wears a white headband.
I do.
What?
I like to make that joke.
Oh,
Anytime someone says
joke.
Andy,
it lands every single time.
Thank you, JP.
But I like I was telling you though, Yak, I love this Oregon team. I like Shellstad. I like Biddle.
After all of the hype for Liberty, you love Oregon.
Jesus almighty, bro.
No, I'm taking Liberty, but I'm saying I like this squad though. But I'm taking Liberty. For myself, I'm taking Liberty. All right, on the Arizona Akron. Take it away, Yak.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about this Arizona Akron game. For me personally, these two teams play very similar style, running gun offense. They like to pour in points at a premium and at a quick pace. They play efficiently. The only problem is, and that's how Akron's going to want to play this game, and Arizona's going to invite them to put on their track shoes because that's exactly what they want as well. I said this to Drew yesterday. The only way Akron has a fighting chance, I believe, is if Arizona gets out to a slow start the first 10 minutes and they fall behind. Essentially, if Akron doesn't get a head start, they don't really have a chance because, unfortunately, they're a fun 13. I know there's people that are going to say they shouldn't be in the tournament because of what happened with Miami, Ohio. That game was tough. But these teams just play too similarly for Akron to stand out. I guess if they play similarly, it does give them a chance. But if Arizona plays how they should, they get out to the start that they should, I don't think they'll look back. I'm going to take the Wildcats.
Yeah, I'm also taking the Wildcats. They've been, as the season's gone on, they've gotten better and better and better and better and better, and they look so good in their tournament game. I know it was against Kansas, but they looked so freaking good. So I'm gonna take the Wildcats here as well. I'm not super high on Akron. I know a lot of people are, but they're the smallest team in the country. So it gives me
Yes,
Samford from last year vibes. Like it was a close game,
everyone
and
loves Samford.
everyone says like the block. If it was actually a block, Samford would have won. But I mean, we're losing that game by 20 plus and came back. So give me Arizona.
Yeah, you guys really think I'm gonna bet with John Gross? Yeah, heck no. I'm taking the Wildcats here by 20. That's what we're moving on. Caleb will up to the moon, and let's move on.
All right, BYU VCU guys. This was the game out of the East region before we hit record where I'm like, man, because I love this BYU team. But I think out of all the 11s, this is not the 11 they wanted to draw. This is hard. Drew, I'll start with you here. Just where are you looking at? What are your vibes? What are you
You
feeling?
know, I just I know BYU is the hottest team in the country right now, one of them at least. Uh, I told JP this. I don't really like this team at all, and nothing against them. I just don't like the vibes. Uh, I love VCU here. That's who I'm going to take here. I love Matt Shuluga. That's his name.
Olga.
Yeah, sharpshooter. And like JP said, VCU's like Drake. They play slow, but they can score and they can rebound. I love this matchup. I love VCU here. I think they're going to slow the pace down for BYU, and I think they're going to sneak out here with a win.
All right. I'm gonna make JP the deciding vote because I am taking BYU. I just do
I'm
think it's
taking
unfortunate.
VCU.
All right, so VCU is gonna advance. I do think it's unfortunate, bro. It really is because I like this BYU team, but I could very easily see it happening for Virginia Commonwealth University to move on.
I'm in the same
Yeah,
boat as you. My only
because
thing is VCU defends the three better than anybody in the country, and BYU likes to chuck threes. I'm just gonna trust BYU in this. They're well coached, and they got great. They had the A10 player of the year. So give me VCU.
Yeah.
my problem here before we move on to Wisconsin, Montana, I could easily see BYU in the Sweet 16,
I can see both. Yeah, both of them.
and that's the
Yeah.
problem. Is like the winner of this game could easily go to the Sweet 16. It's just you got to get the winner right.
Yep.
And we're not all in agreement here on the pod, but VCU will advance. Wisconsin taking on Montana, the Big Sky Conference champion. Drew, I believe, is already penciling in Wisconsin. I'm going to take the Badgers, and I believe that is how we're feeling across the board as well, fellas.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I don't need to talk about this. That's all I
All
need.
right. Floor, I want to have the floor at least for a little bit of this. This is one of my least favorite matchups in the entire bracket. Nothing about this matchup is exciting for me. St. Mary's and Vanderbilt. This is super gross. I hate everything about this game. I don't like either of these teams, but one has to win. And I'll keep it short. I'm taking St. Mary's. Just it's, but I'm not gonna watch this matchup and be thrilled. It's midday Friday, so of course it's gonna be on. I'm gonna keep my eyes on it. I'm hoping it surprises me and it's a better game than I think. But this screams stinker. This could be a really low scoring game in terms of vibes. Like nothing about when this bracket got revealed. I think it's the first thing I texted in our group chat was, man, this is going to be a tough game to watch. But I do like St. Mary's better to not win the conference tournament out of the WCC. Did win in the regular season though. Just more proven this year for me. I guess you can make the argument of the SEC being a gauntlet, a juggernaut. 14 teams in, but we can't take every SEC team, and for that reason, I'm going to take St. Mary's.
Yeah, I'm also taking St. Mary's here. I just think they're the better team. I don't even Vanderbilt for me was a bubble team. I can't believe they even got a 10 seed at that. And St. Mary's, this is the first time I think they've properly seeded the WCC teams. Although I think Gonzaga and St. Mary's should probably be flipped, but that's neither here or there. But I really like this spot for St. Mary's, and I actually think they could potentially have a path to the Sweet 16 here. So I'm also going St. Mary's.
All righty. There you have it, Beef.
I don't like you said, yeah, it's a weird game. I know nothing about Vanderbilt. I've watched St. Mary's a couple times. Uh, but I've been on Vanderbilt for some reason. I just got this weird gut feeling, and then JP knows my gut feeling. So that means I'm gonna go with St. Mary's just because my gut feeling has lost me a lot of money and it makes me feel super dumb. So for that reason, I'm gonna take St. Mary's.
All righty. And I'm assuming Bama, Robert Morris. We're going to go Bama across the board. All right. Beef's going to take Robert Morris. Now, we'll talk more about the Crimson Tide when we move on here, similar to what we did with St. John's earlier on in the West region. To the Midwest, we got Houston, Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, not Carbondale, where you fellas are at, but Edwardsville, known as a high school powerhouse throughout baseball and football and other sports, but they get in for the first time in the dance. Unfortunately, they meet the Houston Cougars, who I believe we will all be taking here.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Rock
most bet
on,
on
rock.
16 seed is SIUE.
I
Well,
believe it.
good thing none of us can bet on them. So
That is correct. Yeah, good
thank
point there,
you,
Drew.
JB Pritzker.
All right. As we move on to the 8-9, this could be a fun matchup. I know Beeves really high on the Zags, taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. Asa Newell's really fun to watch. We got to look out for the Bulldogs, and obviously with Gonzaga, tough seeding for them as well. Getting an 8, you never want to be an 8 or a 9. That's always a tough situation to be in. JP, we'll start with you in this one.
Yeah, every metric favors Gonzaga, and I don't even care that they're the most bet on 8 seed. They're just the better team. They're genuinely just a better team in this scenario. I think that whoever wins this Gonzaga Houston game goes to the Elite Eight and potentially the Final Four. So give me the Zags.
All right, Beef.
God, I'm so happy you said that. We're taking the Zags. I'm not joking.
Did you think I was not taking the Zags?
I don't know, but I was just getting a bad vibe. I don't know. Sweep
No.
across the board. I love the Zags this year. I'll save my other joy for later when we get to this, but I love the Zags. JP knows I love my boy Graham Mike. God, I love this team so much. I'll deep dive in this later just so we can get moving along. But God, I'm so happy. All right, let's go. Next game.
I'm going to take Gonzaga as well. For
Oh,
the
my
record,
bad.
I know.
I do want to say one more thing. Sorry, just against the SEC. I don't know how Georgia or Oklahoma. Nothing against them. They got two good ball players on their team, but I'd rather have seen West Virginia and Indiana over them too.
Maybe Oklahoma. Georgia had a hell of a season.
I think Georgia deserves to be in. Yeah.
Yeah, Oklahoma. There was an argument to be made. It's just the fact that if you slap a Big 12 logo on Oklahoma's record, they miss.
I agree.
There you have it. No, I think this will be. So I like the Zags. I do think it'll be a better game than people think it's going to be, though. I think this will be a good game, and not just because it's the 8 and the 9 next to these guys. I think it'll be a better game than people think. This one, these two right here, this could be a lot of chaos. These next two matchups, based on how some people are liking to go about this here in this Midwest region. Drew, I want to start with you. McNeese and Clemson. McNeese is probably the most popular upset pick next to Yale in this entire tournament. Will Wade, though, just getting announced today that he will be taking the job at North Carolina State following the end of this season. I know JP texted in as well that could have a factor. I want to start with you, though, Beef. This matchup in general, are you buying into the hype with McNeese?
I'm gonna have to. Oh, gosh. I was really high on this McNeese team, whatever. I really like him, but after Will Wade just accepted this NC State job, I think his mind's already off this team. Like I don't think he cares anymore. So that for that reason, I'm gonna take Clemson here. I just think his mindset is just I want to get over to NC State and build that program right away. He doesn't care about McNeese anymore. What's him winning a championship here is gonna do? You know what I mean? Like that's just my thought now. But I was really all over McNeese until that happened a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one. I am going to take McNeese, actually. I do think they get it done. We need to have some upsets here on the board. I know this would be our second 12 seed. I get where you're coming from on Will Wade's mindset. And obviously, I think it's known that McNeese is not going to win the NCAA championship this year. But I don't think it's going to stop him here in the first round from at least winning a game. I haven't watched a lot of ACC this year, but I've seen Clemson. They're a good team. I haven't seen anything from them that gets me excited. I know that your argument's going to be, McNeese, mid-major, small conference school, hasn't played a lot of high-quality opponents, but there's always one. And for me, that's this team. They were a popular pick last year, and they didn't get it done. I think they do this year. So that's my pick. And because we're split 1-1, JP will be the deciding vote here in the Just Beavin bracket.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on this matchup. This is another one that's been keeping me up at night. I was talking to a kid at school about this. Yeah, I'm just gonna trust the metrics on this one. I hope McNeese wins. I'm rooting for McNeese to win as many games as they can, but since we're picking this to be correct, I'm gonna take Clemson here.
All right, so the Tigers advancing. Purdue and High Point. I say region of chaos and I've said this on record that I do think it's very possible that one of McNeese or High Point wins. I very much see that, but because I just took McNeese, that means I have to take Purdue. The Boilers. And I don't totally love that. I know there's a lot of hype around High Point as well, but I simply can't justify the 12 and 13 in the round of 32, despite that being really fun and meaning one of those teams would get to go to the Sweet 16. I am a Big Ten guy, not saying I love the Big Ten in terms of all the teams, but I do have to have some Big Ten teams moving on here. So that's why I'm going to take the Boilermakers.
Yeah, just I'm not going to go through a whole analysis on it. It's vibes pick. Give me High Point.
Yeah, yeah. You know, me and you talked about this last night on the phone. McNeese or High Point, one of these two teams. I don't know who it is going to be, but I'm going to take my point here. I'm going to take High Point here. One of these two teams are winning. I don't know which one is,
Yeah.
but
That's what's tough is one of them
yeah,
probably not probably, but one of them has a good chance of doing it. You just got to pick the right one.
exactly. And I'm going to take High Point here. I love Purdue's team too. They got one of the best players in the country. Probably Brace is probably the number 2 player in this region. I'm saying LJ Cryer is the best player in this region. But yeah, I like Purdue. I like Coppin Ren. But I got no logic behind this. I think High Point's gonna win.
All right. There you have it. So I picked McNeese and Purdue. The guys picked Clemson High Point. That's what reigns supreme. I just think that those four teams, it could get really interesting one way or
Been
another.
hell picking those 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Beav, your Illini in the 6-11. This matchup with Texas Xavier happening tonight. We'll let you start.
No, let me go
I have
last.
some
Let me go
thoughts here.
last.
Oh, you want to
Let
go
me go-
last? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
let me go
start then.
last.
I don't care who wins between Texas or Xavier. Whoever wins is beating the Illini. That's my pick. Every year there is one of these playing teams that wins, and I guess for you guys, you took North Carolina.
In the history of the plan, one is one.
Yeah. So you guys took North Carolina, so I guess it's off the board for you. But for me, I need to have one that wins. And I love my Illini guys. I don't love the team, but I love my friends who are Illini fans, Drew and others. But I hate everything about this Illinois team. Every time I've watched them this year, they're so polarizing. For me, whenever I watch them, I get you guys texting, once a week, either season's back on, or I'm so done with this team. Or as our good friend Dave Pitchford likes to say, I'm gonna go join a book club. Like when I'm getting messages about a team, that doesn't instill a lot of confidence. I think for the sake of the better chance of beating Illinois, I think it's Xavier. But at the same time, even if it's Texas, I know they're a one man show, but I'm fine with them as well. I'm taking the winner of that playing game to beat the Illini.
Yeah, if it's Texas, I'm taking Illinois. When it's Xavier, though, I'm taking Xavier. Even if only one of the playing teams win, just off pure numbers, I would pick both of them. Whether if it was blank teams, I would still take both 11 play-ins just for the numbers. But I truly do think Xavier will beat Illinois if it's Xavier. So I'm going to take Xavier here. I'm taking only Xavier.
Okay, so I think for the sake of the bracket, unfortunately, Beaver, sorry, that's what's moving on. We'll let you give your Illinois shtick here, especially because we're not going to talk about them the rest of the show.
That's fine. Whatever you want to say.
Oh, that was funny. That's the way you delivered that was good.
If Illinois does win this somehow, I do think we can beat Kentucky. I think Kentucky's the most inconsistent 3 seed. But whatever, same shit, whatever, by the way, whatever. But I think this team's as bad as the Matthew Meyer team. I think we're very inconsistent.
I'm shocked you guys got a 6.
I couldn't believe it. I thought they were for sure a 7.
Once we beat Purdue, I figured we were on that top 7 seed, or we're at that bottom 6 seed. But anyways, I hate this matchup. I really hate it. I got no words. I can't bet against my line in the first round. I'm gonna take them. But dude, KJ, as we know, Jackakonis, whatever you want to say his last name is, he just looks lost out there now. I mean, he just looks completely lost. He looks like a high school ball player dribbling the ball up and trying
lottery pick though, right?
Yeah, bullshit. Oops, family friendly, my bad. Bleep. Yeah, he ain't no lottery pick, I'll tell you that. I love my Illini, but he ain't no lottery pick. But hey, I'll tell you what, Kylan Boswell's turning around. He's having a good last couple games. His step back 3 those make me want to join a book club, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take the Illini here, but you guys want Xavier, that's fine. I get it. I think we might lose this game. It's gonna be a 50-50. I'll be honest with you. It just depends how we defend and how we shoot.
Yeah.
If we shoot how we played against Iowa, we'll probably win this game. If we shoot how we played against Maryland, we'll probably lose by 20. That's just how this Illini team works.
That's the game of basketball to a T there, guys. Drew, like you said, if the Illini win, they get the winner of Kentucky and Troy. I'm really hoping for the sake of, not that I really care about Kentucky fans, but I'm hoping for their sanity and for the state of Kentucky and for Lexington that they just get out of the first round this year. Uh, it is though in the last, the history of St. Peter's and last year with Oakland, definitely not on their side, but it's a new era with Mark Pope leading the way in his first tournament with the Wildcats. I don't really love this Troy team either, so for everything included, I'm taking Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm taking Kentucky.
I'm also taking Kentucky.
All right. I should say 7-10, St. Mary's Vanderbilt gross. I also say UCLA Utah State is gross. And this is what kills me is I've been so all over the Mountain West. I do like Utah State guys, but I don't know if I can take another Mountain West team. We're just trying to, this is the logical side of things. JP, I want to start with you here. Both teams from the West Coast, and just once again, vibes on this one are not, I don't love this game at all.
Yeah, that actually just jogged my memory of a stat I meant to mention during the New Mexico Marquette one. Anytime in the history of the 7-10, when the 10 has more wins than the 7 has outright won the game.
Wow.
And Utah State has 4 more wins than UCLA. New Mexico has 4 more wins than Marquette. And for the same logic, I just think UCLA is a better team. They had a horrible showing in the Big Ten tournament. They have some great wins this year. They also have some mid losses. But I like UCLA, and I truly think this is the weakest, quadrant of the entire bracket. Is these 8 teams right here? I really think, and I know I just picked them to lose, but I think anyone from Illinois to Xavier, Kentucky, UCLA, and Tennessee all can go to the Elite Eight. So I'm going to take UCLA here.
Beaver?
I'm also taking UCLA here.
Yeah, just for the sake of me not taking Mountain West teams, and I know they're already advancing in our bracket, but I do need to take the Bruins. And we'll round out the Midwest with Tennessee over Wofford. Let's head up to the top left if we want to go back.
Before we move on, can I ask you guys this? And you guys
Totally.
are probably going to agree with me. Would you guys say the Midwest is the most wide open region we have in this bracket this year?
Yes.
I would have to say the same thing.
Simply because, like what JP said about the bottom 8, it is a complete mess. So
yeah, the top 8 is so much better than the bottom 8.
Yeah, it is a total mess. We do have some time here for the round of 32 up in the South. Auburn, Louisville. I've said this before. While Louisville Creighton's a tough matchup to pick, and when you're looking at the bracket challenges, right, for points and stuff, it's only going to get you so far because I think Auburn curb stomps either one of those teams. I know Louisville is a good team, so it's tough to say the word curb stomp, but I really like Auburn that much that I'll take the Tigers to go to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I like Auburn a lot too, but I think they're going to win. I think Louisville will keep it a lot closer than people think. This is probably a spread I'll be taking on Louisville.
I'm going to guess 10.5 spread Louisville.
Yeah, 9.5 would be my 10.5, 9.5 somewhere in there is my guess.
Yeah.
All right, so Tigers across the board, but keep an eye on that spread. Drew, we'll start with you here. Michigan A&M. This would be a good game if this is the hypothetical that goes through.
This would be a banger game. I'm not going to lie. But, with the Big Ten of how bad they are in this tournament, I mean, we all know as Big Ten fans, we suck in this tournament. Half our teams, we usually have about 8 to 10 teams that make it every year.
They're gone out of the first weekend, yeah.
Out in the first weekend. I think last year, we had 2 teams make it into the Sweet 16.
Hey, we had a championship team. That's all that matters.
Maybe. That's right. We had Purdue. I'm still rolling with my Big Ten. I got Michigan. I just love the way Danny Wolf plays. Like JP said earlier, he's a 7-foot point guard. I mean, how can you not root for the guy? I mean, he's awesome.
I can think of reasons how to not root for him, but
okay, well,
yeah.
Okay, whatever. You know why you don't like rooting for him. But anyways,
how about this? I dislike players more on that team than Danny.
Yeah.
Wolf. Danny Wolf is a more likable player on that team. There are 2 guys that I cannot stand on Michigan. So we'll leave it at that.
And the crazy part is that most people don't know about this. Well, some people might know, but I bet a lot of people don't know. He's only a junior. He'll be back again next year.
I did
and
not know
guess what?
That. Oh.
He's going to be a lot.
I think he's going to the NBA.
You really think
Ooh.
so?
Yeah.
Well, if he comes back next year, I could see him winning Player of the Year. That's my take.
You heard it here first.
I'm going to take Michigan.
All right, I have my pick made up. JP the determining factor is, are you going to force me to make the decision for the Beavin bracket, or are we going to sweep the board?
I'm gonna force you to make the decision. If there was a team that was gonna neutralize the 2 7-footers on Michigan, it'll be one of the best rebounding teams in the country in Texas A&M. I think the turnovers mixed with the pace. This is the time when I think the Michigan turnovers actually affect the game. The Michigan turnovers with the pace of play that A&M plays and how they get to the hoop. The moment Golden or Wolf gets in foul trouble, that game is immediately over. They're going to get killed on the glass, absolutely killed. I'm above. I know earlier in the episode I said that. I think Buzz Williams could get fired and Chris Beard would take the job. And I still think that is a possibility, but I think Buzz Williams is a great coach. I mean, the guy was winning at Virginia Tech. You don't win at Virginia Tech in basketball. Buzz Williams is a great coach, and I think he's a worse coach than Dusty May, but this Texas A&M team has something to them. Give me A&M to the Sweet 16.
For the sake of the Beavin bracket, it kills me to do this because I hate these guys, but I just see a world where the Wolverines move on. It sucks, dude. It does, but you just watching how they play in the Big Ten tournament. I know as a Michigan State fan, this is terrible to do, but I'm drawing the line. I'm picking it as someone analyzing the game. This would be a tough game. This is the matchup I'm having in my main bracket as well, and it kills me to take the Wolverines, but I am going to pick them to move on, advancing, beating A&M. I don't like Dusty May anymore. I liked him before he got to, even when he was at Michigan, I couldn't not like the guy. But after all the stuff that happened on senior day, that really turned me off on him, and I'm not a fan. So, but regardless, I'm saying all this. I am taking the Wolverines. Just, I like them better from a skill perspective, and they've been playing really good basketball as of late. It's hard to pick against them. This is where we went a little different. My bracket is Ole Miss, Iowa State. We have North Carolina taking on Iowa State here. Drew, I'll start with you, your thoughts, and who you have advancing to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I think they're going to still come in hot. I'm taking UNC here. I think this is a game where RJ Davis has about 35 points. Not really, but like at least 25 to 30 points he's going to have.
All right.
Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. I think it's a good game. Like I said, North Carolina's got the talent, but can they put it together? We've seen all year they can't put together the talent they have. Iowa State's missing Gilbert. I don't think that's going to matter. I think this will be a high-scoring game, but I'm going to take the hot hand here, and I'm going to take North Carolina to advance here.
All right. I'm going to take Iowa State simply because I took Ole Miss to beat North Carolina, so why would I take North Carolina to beat the Cyclones? Even if Ole Miss had won, I also would have taken Iowa State. So for that reason, I'm taking the Cyclones, and I'm forcing JP to make a decision here as to who will move on in our bracket.
Yeah, give me the Cyclones.
There you have it.
I think the public will be all over UNC.
They will be. But
yeah.
You made a good point, too. This is probably their ceiling right here. They should not win more than 2 games. So that's a pretty simple way to put it. I mean, we know who I'm going with here, and I guess I can talk about them a bit more. Michigan State, obviously, is my pick. And this team, I mean, the ceiling is very, very high. And when I look at who to play, I do care. I mean, actually, no, they're New Mexico or Marquette. I mean, I know we talk Marquette, probably the more skilled team. But obviously, I'm not a huge fan of having to play either one of these teams. Obviously, if we beat Bryant, we're going to have to. But my fandom alone is the Spartans. So I feel like you guys can kind of give more of a actual analytical perspective than me just being the fan over here.
Yeah, I just think that New Mexico get killed on the glass. I think the same thing if Marquette had to play Sparty. I think regardless, the ceiling is I think actually Marquette has a higher ceiling in this tournament than New Mexico. But I think Michigan State handles New Mexico and likely would handle Marquette as well. So I'm going to take Sparty as well.
Yeah, I'm also going to take Sparty here. Reason I picked New Mexico is because I think either way, even Marquette wins, I think you guys still handle business and win this game. So I'm going to take Sparty here. Like JP said, I think you guys clear the boards, but that's just my opinion, I'm not always right. That's why I'm the beef. But
survive and advance. We head to the West. We'll hit our final intermission of the show after we get through these 4 matchups in the round of 32. Florida and UConn. I'll keep it short on my end.
Discuss anything.
Yeah, I like Florida. I think Florida's a national championship caliber team. So then moving on makes sense. I have an upset here, guys. I think Colorado State gets Maryland. I know we're just talking about how we're Big Ten guys and we like this Maryland team, but I always feel like there's got to be one double-digit seed that's dancing along. And you talked about Nick Clifford earlier, JP. That guy is a bucket, and he can take over games. I know Derek Queen can for Maryland as well. I'd be entertained to watch this game. I really hope this is the matchup that we see in the round of 32. But for the sake of having a guaranteed double-digit seed in the Sweet 16, I know that's not a rule in the tournament, but I always like to have one. And for me, that's going to be the Rams.
Yeah, I'm taking the crab 5 here. They're going to kill Colorado State on the boards. Give me Maryland.
Yeah, I love this Colorado State team. I love Clifford, but this game's not going to be close. I'm going to take Maryland here. Like you said, Yak, Derek Queen is so fun to watch. As much as I hate Julian Reese, he's a good ball player. Can't shoot free throws, but he can board. And let me tell you, I like Gillespie too, man. He is a ball player. I just love this team all around. This team has a high ceiling, and I can see big things from them.
All right, so the Crab 5 advance. Our last two matchups, Missouri, Texas Tech. For me, this is another headache matchup. But I am going to take the Red Raiders. You talk about with Missouri, I think they're good enough to beat a team like Drake, but you once again saw how they, dealt with adversity in the SEC tournament playing Florida. And I don't know. I just feel like we talk about ceilings and floors. I feel like Missouri is a one-win team in this tournament. I like what Texas Tech has to offer a lot more, and I feel like they should be a team that moves on beyond the first weekend. So I will side with the Red Raiders here.
Yeah, give me the analytics and just give me the better team. I think the way you said it, it just makes so much sense. Missouri's a one-win team in this tournament. I don't know why, but like just saying that, closing my eyes, I see the Missouri logo, and I think that perfectly sums it up. Give me the Red Raiders.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Red Raiders too. I don't think they got anyone to guard Toppin. I'm gonna be completely honest. Mark Mitchell's not gonna be able to guard him. Mark Mitchell's a good ball player, but he's not gonna be able to keep up with Toppin, and Toppin's a lot stronger and more physical. So I'm gonna take Tech here.
And I love that we get this remaining time to talk about St. John's. Now that we didn't really mention it much in the first round, Kansas playing St. John's. Guys, I love this St. John's team. I love everything about this team. And I know some people are torn on them, and I used to not be a big Patino fan in terms of his coaching and just more old school style. But I've really come around on him this year. I like what he's done with this group. What he's done is extremely impressive. And we mentioned it when talking about the Kansas Arkansas game that there are limitations to each of those teams. With Arkansas, Boogie Flan being back in the fold, they're a worse team statistically with him on the floor. And with Kansas, it just simply isn't one of Bill Self's best groups. They're going to have to do a lot to beat the Johnnies here in the round of 32. And I've watched more St. John's games this year than I thought I would. And every time I'm just more and more impressed by what they bring. So I will take St. John's to advance to the round or the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I go back and forth here. Like you said, Yak, I love this St. John's team. Big fan of Patino. But there's just one thing. I'm not a big Bill Self guy, great coach. Just don't really like him as a person. People probably know why. This Kansas team though has probably the best, like talent wise, probably best talent wise roster. But the whole thing is, can they click at the right time? And that's where I don't know if that will happen. Uh, such a tough matchup. I'm gonna take Kansas here. I really like this team. I think they're gonna catch fire here and advance on, and that's just gonna be my pick. I like Zeke Mayo. I like Dickinson. I don't know. Something about this team, man, just tells me they're gonna make a big run. As much as I hate Kansas too.
Yeah, if it takes 80 points to win this game, give me Kansas. If it's anything under that, give me St. John's. I'm going to go with St. John's for our pick. I am not very high on the St. John's team. I love Rick Pitino. I've always loved Rick Pitino. I'm a sucker for all those coaches that were good. I don't care that everyone hates Cal. I don't care that everyone hates Coach K. I love all those guys. Love Izzo. Love all of them. Bill Self, I love, and I love Patino. I'm just not high on teams that can't play offense. They are so bad offensively. But I'm dunking all over them right now, but this Kansas team is just not it this year. They are so weak defensively, and no one besides Dickinson hits the board since KJ Adams is always in foul trouble. Give me the Johnnies here.
I like it.
All righty, and that'll send us to our second intermission. We'll wrap things up when we return here on Just Beavin. Last intermission, or so we hope, here on this lengthy episode of Just Beavin. Thanks so much for sticking around, staying tuned, and watching this entire thing. We are in the East region, upper right-hand quadrant, round of 32. Duke taking on the Baylor Bears. I'll keep it simple. Duke, for me, is the best team in the country, if not a top 3 team. Obviously, they're a 1 seed, so I have Duke advancing. I'm pretty sure my partners here on the show have the same thing.
Yeah, healthy Duke is the highest rated team in Ken Palm history. So give me Duke.
Yep.
All righty. I'm interested to see where you guys are looking here. Arizona, Oregon, JP. I'll put the ball in your court. No pun intended. To begin this one off. A couple of former Pac-12 squads. We now have Big 12 taking on the Big 10.
Yeah, I've been all over the place with this one. This is another one I tinker daily. In my current state of mind, I'm all over the Ducks right now. I just trust Dana Altman, especially playing against a former Pac-12 school. He knows Tommy Lloyd in and out, and there's just something about Bamba, Biddle, and Shellstat that I just can't get over. I love it. I love them. I love the Ducks. Give me the Ducks.
All right,
You
Beef.
don't gotta say any more. You don't gotta say any more, brother. I'm the same way with you. Let's take the Ducks, baby.
I'm on the Ducks as
Said
well.
that all
I
along.
like this Arizona team. I'm not high on them. They're not in the same category as Missouri. That'd be crazy to say, but it's a tough matchup to run into with the Ducks, and I don't want to be. Drew and I talked about this yesterday. This is a top end heavy bracket. This is a top end just heavy pool. I feel like we're gonna similar to last year. A lot of the higher seeds are gonna keep advancing anyways. I don't want to have 1 through 4 in on this side. I guess well for our bracket we won't because other teams are out, but I want to keep it fresh, and I like the Ducks as well to advance to take on the Duke Blue Devils, VCU, Wisconsin. I'll let Drew start this only because my matchup in my bracket is BYU, Alabama. Or no, BYU, Wisconsin. Jeez, that would have been my next matchup, the Sweet 16. All right, giving that away. I had BYU. You guys had VCU. Drew, do you think VCU has another upset in them, or are you sticking with our Big Ten Badgers?
I said Big Ten. They got bad luck in this tournament, but I think this is the year they turn it around. I'm going Wisconsin here. I'm going with the Badgers. I just really, really like this team. I like Blackwell. Uh, I like Tanji. They can all shoot. That's what I like about this team. The offense on this team is very, very well, and once they get hot from 3, it's game over. I mean, me and JP saw it when they played UCLA last Friday. It was dangerous and very scary. So that reason I'm taking the Badgers here. Um, and yeah,
I'm going to take
Yeah,
Wisconsin
and
as
to that.
well. Oh,
Oh,
you go
no, you
first,
go,
JP.
go, go, go. No, no,
All
go,
right.
go, go, go.
I'm going to take Wisconsin because in general, I had BYU beating Wisconsin clearly as I accidentally spoiled that myself. The one thing with Tanji, even though I'm taking the Badgers, I feel like they're kind of too reliant on him. And I look at the 2 games they played my Spartans this year, the Tanaka side of the Big Ten tournament, and then in East Lansing. When we played them in East Lansing, granted, they barely won, they being the Spartans. They were able to keep Tanji in check. But then again, in the Big Ten Conference tournament, it took Tanji going for 32 for them to win by a pair. That's what makes it tough. I know I'm saying this in my bracket. That's why I had BYU beating them. I'm clearly, if I'm not high on VCU in that matchup, it wouldn't make sense for me to all of a sudden have them beating the Badgers. So I am going to take Wisconsin for that reason.
Yeah, my pick's VCU. Drew just talked about how they shoot threes and they get hot from 3. And the same logic I used against picking against BYU, I'm going to use here. VCU defends the 3 better than anybody in the country. They're great defensively. They slow the pace down. And they're one of the few teams, I think, in this tournament as a mid-major that they are the ones who can set the pace for the game. And I think I think that really make Wisconsin uncomfortable. And if they're not hitting threes, I mean, when they're not hitting threes, they look horrifically bad out there, as we saw against Michigan in the Big Ten championship. When the ball's not going in for them, they are a bad basketball team, and that's I think VCU would cause that for them. So it's unfortunate, but let's send the Badgers out.
Badgers are moving on. One of those situations, man. Is our friends at Limp Biscuit would always say it's just one of those days, and it will be one of those days when we get to the round of 32. St. Mary's, Alabama. I mentioned how much I hated the St. Mary's Vanderbilt matchup in the first round because I don't like either one of those teams. If I don't like either one of them, why would I have them beating a 2 seed in the round of 32? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Unfortunately, this bracket is turning super chalk, but that's just kind of, in my opinion, how the field is this year. I'm going to take the Crimson Tide.
is that better, more Andy? I'm gonna take the Crimson Tide as well.
For the sake of being right, I'm picking Alabama, but in real life, I'm going to put U.S. currency on St. Mary's. I like this Gales team, and I like a Gales VCU Sweet 16. I think people are really too focused on the logo here with St. Mary's and are used to the West Coast Conference underperforming. But this Gales team is genuinely different compared to the other ones. This is the most talented Gales team that they've had ever, ever. And I really think that they will put this Alabama team to the test. And I think a lot of people will be shocked.
All right. That is
Yes.
our East quadrant. We still got the Midwest for the round of
Oh,
32,
that's right. My bad. Sorry, boys.
bottom right-hand quadrant. You can't leave out the Midwest, Beef. It's just as important
I'm
as
already
everything
checked.
else.
I'm already checked out since Illinois got booted out.
Yeah, that is the region we head to. Drew, because you are so high on Gonzaga, I'm going to let you start with this Houston matchup.
I'm taking a Zags here, and funny enough, this Midwest is so open. I think anyone can run the table here. I think this Zags team has the potential to make it to the Final Four. I love Mark Few, great coach. I love Graham Ike. I love Ryan Nembren, great point guard. And when he's stroking it from three, very dangerous.
All right.
Yeah, laugh all you want, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Also, shout out. I think he's from Glendale West. Braden Huff, bucket.
Lombard West.
Lombard West.
Yep, you guys got me. You guys are my Chicago boys, so
Huff is awesome. It is cool to see.
Huff is
So
awesome.
it's cool to see the role that he's gotten. He was redshirted his freshman year, so the fact that
yeah.
he's worked up to this prominent spot in the rotation. He was such a beast in high school too. That Glenbard West team. I mean, we're not talking about high school basketball here, but that starting five was just absolutely ridiculous. One of the best teams out of the burbs I've ever seen personally. So
I wonder if he likes playing Huff and Puff at this local casino.
I'm gonna go with no. I don't think he's 21. And if he was, I'm not sure if he'd be allowed in. Drew, JP, do you have an upset brewing here? Are you gonna side with Beeve and the Zags, or do you trust what Houston's got this year?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really, 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 really good game. And I'm
Count the
torn on
Rillies
it.
back at home.
Yeah, I'm really torn on it. I don't know who to pick at all. Give me Houston in this.
Pains me to have to be the deciding vote, but I'm going to take the Cougars as well. This isn't making our case better with the chalk, but I'm sorry, Beef. I can't simply do it. I know Gonzaga could very easily win this game.
I will say though, every single year a one seed loses in the round of 32, and we have
That's
not.
what I'm saying.
And we haven't
bro.
done. You know what? No, make it Gonzaga. That's a good point. We can't go against the metrics. We have to do the Zags. Because I mean, realistically, out of all the other one seeds, this is the most likely. This is the most likely.
I think this is the best 8 seed, and I think this is the worst 1 seed, so it checks out.
Yeah,
exactly. And let's be honest. Let's be honest, boys.
Let's be honest, Drew.
Since we got a little more time, no one's beating Florida. No one's beating Auburn.
This is all subjective.
Yeah, this is in my opinion too. But
Auburn's not getting to the Final Four, so maybe in our bracket they will. But
okay, Mr. Sparty.
So.
All right, Mr. Sparty.
Didn't say it was Michigan State, Drew. There are other teams in that region besides the Spartans. I'll keep this one short, considering I have the two opposite teams in my bracket of McNeese and Purdue. We have Clemson and High Point. I'm just going to take the better team in the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, I'm going to go just no logic here. I'm going to go High Point.
All right.
I'm trusting all the metrics here. I'm not making that stupid pick. Give us the Tigers.
He's ripping you, Beef. Ripping you. Gonzaga, Clemson in the Sweet 16. The winner of Texas, Xavier, taking on Kentucky, fellas. This is tough because we don't know. I mean, has that game hasn't gone final yet, has it?
No, they're starting right there. It's like they're
man.
I think they're at the
dude. Because if this is Xavier, I could totally see them winning this game, but we don't know if it's Xavier or not.
At this exact moment in time, Texas is up 8 on Xavier.
Oh boy.
And let me tell you this right now. I don't care what you boys say. You know, I'm sorry.
Let me guess, Drew. You're thinking Illinois can beat Kentucky.
No, I'm just gonna say this right now.
Say it.
And yes, I do. I already said that in the last part. Whoever wins this game right here, I know you can't see my fingers pointing, but whoever wins this game is beating Kentucky. I don't care who the heck it is. One of these three teams is beating the number 3 seed Kentucky.
All right.
And therefore, I will be taking Texas, Xavier, or Illinois.
JP.
Yeah, I'm taking Kentucky. I'm not listening to the nonsense on the outside here. Everyone is like freaking out that Kentucky's like overseeded and overrated. They swept Tennessee. They beat Alabama once. I'm not sure why people are freaking out that this Kentucky team is terrible. I know that the SDSU transfers injured and Kira Krissa is injured. That does not phase me at all, dude. Kobe Brea, does no one remember the Dayton Nevada game last year? Kobe
Great
Brea
game.
could literally he could do it all himself. And there's countless studs on that team. Everyone is freaking out over this Kentucky team and how they're overseeded and they're gonna get upset and blah 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 blah. Well, you know what? Kiss my rear end. Give me Kentucky.
I keep going on the logic of this being top ended in top heavy. So for that, it's Kentucky for me as well, just because we don't know. And if it is Texas, like I Texas Kentucky would be a nightmare matchup for the Longhorns. So I will take Kentucky, and then I'll keep things short. I love this Tennessee team, and I really only took UCLA because I couldn't take another Mountain West team. So I'm going to take the Volunteers.
Yeah, I'm right with you too, Andy. I think UCLA can get past Utah State, but I think that's the end of their journey here. And I think just a little prediction here. I think Mick Cronin's gone. Uh, After they lose, I think he's done at UCLA. I think he's going to accept a job somewhere else.
I'm not a Mick Cronin guy, so that would work for me. I'm not a fan of his.
I think Mick Cronin's a good coach, but I think it's kind of like a known
It's his
thing that
personality. I
I
don't
think
like
he's
his
getting
personality.
fired. He's definitely getting fired after this tournament,
Yeah.
as long as they don't make a run to the Sweet 16. With that said, I do think they can. I'm taking Tennessee, and I've taken Tennessee in all my brackets except one. But I will be betting U.S. currency on UCLA. I do believe that they can
Outright
easily.
or spread?
Yeah, outright, outright.
Okay.
I do believe that they can easily win this game. UCLA is one of the top 15 teams in the country when they're playing good basketball. We saw flashes of that this season. We also saw a bottom, or not a bottom, but a top 40 team rather instead. And I just hate Tennessee. So yeah.
All right. Let's head back up to the top left quadrant, the South region for the Sweet 16.
Fortnite
And,
here.
and shout out Fortnite as well. Not a sponsor of the show. Auburn, Michigan. It's also the matchup I have. I didn't totally love taking Michigan in the last round, so I'm not going to be on them here. I'll take the Tigers as the one seed in this region to advance to the Elite Eight. This is just a team that is that good, and for Michigan, it was like I said, a tough decision to just have them beat A&M. So it will be a pretty easy decision to go against them, and especially as a fan, I cannot have the Wolverines in the Elite Eight. However, it would create for a potential interesting rivalry matchup if Sparty and Michigan could both win their respective games in this hypothetical scenario, but I don't think it'll happen. I'm taking the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm also taking the Tigers. Not nothing else to add.
Yeah, I agree. Do you boys want me to go over our Sweet 16 just to run down, or we good?
We're good. I think we can
Okay.
just power through here.
Okay.
And we head to Iowa State, Michigan State. Once again, I mean, I'm taking the Spartans for obvious reasons, but this will be a test, man. This is not going to be an easy game. But in terms of what I've seen, like I said, haven't watched a lot of Iowa State this year, so that's not going to help my cause. But I know what this Spartans team is capable of, and I'm just going off the standard, the expectations based on what they've set this year. And this is a team that deserves to be, not, I shouldn't say deserves, but could very well and should very well based on what they have. And depending on how they play early on, they should be an Elite Eight team. So it would be a bad on a fan part to not have them at least in the Elite Eight this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go against you. Yeah, nothing against your Sparties, but I think Iowa State can shoot the ball better than you guys. And if they get hot from three, I think it's kind of wraps. Nothing against you guys. I like this Michigan State team. Uh, you guys have a good culture going on over there. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna take
a
Iowa
great
State.
coach. Great coach, Drew. A really good coach.
Hey,
Best in the conference.
I got nothing against Izzo.
That is
Just when
such a lie.
just when
That
he grabs
is
just when he grabs the ref and gives him a hug. Oh, please blow your whistle for me. Blow it, blow it. Then I got a problem. Like it's every.
so it sounds like you don't like him.
I didn't say I didn't like him. It's
All
just
right.
when he's dripping tears every game. Oh, blow your whistle, please.
You do
Blow
realize
it.
who your coach is, right?
Yeah, Brad Underwood. I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I do.
JP, are you sending my Spartans home or are you having them
I
advance?
am sending your Spartans to the Elite Eight.
All right.
Last time TJ Otzelberger had to face a Big Ten team in the tournament, he looked like he didn't know how to coach. For 30 minutes of that game, he got out coached by Brad Underwood for almost 2 whole halves, which says a lot about TJ Otzelberger. Although I love him and think he's a great coach, and I'm sure he's learned from that. He's a way better coach than Brad Underwood. I want to reiterate that. He looked horrible in that tournament game. And so I'm just taking Izzo. I think he's the much better coach. And yeah, but I just also want to. I'm saying this right now. That's the ceiling on Sparty. They're getting blown out in the next game.
All right. All right. All right.
All
Beaver.
right, do you want to make that pick right now?
I mean, I'm taking.
Yeah,
I have.
let's
I have
finish.
the.
Let's just
I
finish the
have the.
region.
I have the Spartans in the Final Four, but I will say in my bracket, that's right. I have them losing the Final Four, just because I
Listen,
can't put. I can't put every one seed in, man.
I just want to provide you this stat, real stat. No 2 seed in the history of the tournament that started the season unranked has ever made the Final Four. Ever.
You're killing me with these stats, man. No,
Ever.
I know. I have to take them though. I can't put every one seed in. I cannot.
Hey man, I get you. I'm just telling you.
So,
All right,
I'm just giving you the numbers.
All right, we're gonna go Auburn here because I'm gonna go Auburn too. Okay, now down to the
we're in the West.
West. There we go. All the way down.
Florida, Maryland. I have Florida, Colorado State in mine. And regardless, I don't think it matters who the Gators play. They are a damn good basketball team. They are certainly worthy of advancing into the Elite Eight. In my opinion, they're the second most picked team to win the tournament for a reason. I just don't think the Terrapins have the depth to handle what Florida would bring to them in this Sweet 16 matchup. So I have them advancing.
Yeah, I fully agree. Maryland does not have the depth to hang around with Florida, but they have the starters. Give me the Crab Five to the Elite Eight. I love this Maryland team. They fired me up. I really like this squad.
Yeah, I like this Florida team better. That's all I gotta say. I'm taking Florida.
All righty,
Sorry.
Florida in the Elite Eight. Drew, who will they play? Will they play the St. John's Johnnies or the Texas Tech Red Raiders? JP, let's start with you here.
Okay.
Texas Tech is my favorite team in this entire tournament. They fit every metric you need to win a championship. They score, which St. John's can't do, and they defend. And that is they're a way better team than St. John's. And JT Toppin is a top 5 player in the country. I think he's the best player. I think he's the best player in this entire region. Yes, I do. And so give me the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
I'm going to take Texas Tech as well to put them in to the Elite Eight. I know I've spent all this time hyping up the Johnnies, but similar logic, can't have 1-2, 1-2 in every region. And to your point there with Top and JP, I see that as the real difference maker in this one.
Yeah, I like my Red Raiders. As I say, Raider Rash is very dangerous over there. But yeah, I like Overton. Came over from Drake. Good ball player. And like I said earlier, I like Toppin. So I'm gonna go with the Red Raiders.
Well, the 1-3. Let's finish that out here in the West as well. Florida, Texas Tech for a spot in the Final Four. I'm taking the Gators, guys. Once again, and got to keep it consistent, at least not trying to have all the 1 seeds. But with me, this Gators team is everything. I had watched them a lot this year till the tail end of the regular season into the SEC tournament. Everything is advertised and more. And for that reason, I just can't see them losing this matchup.
Yeah, give me Texas Tech and the Red Raiders. They play offense and they play defense. I think they can slow this game down, make Florida very uncomfortable. And again, JT Toppin, best player in this entire region. I don't think Florida's got anyone that can match up with him.
Yeah, I took Florida winning another bracket of mine, so I'm gonna roll with Texas Tech here. I really like this team, and this is just my hot take. Whoever wins this game right here is your national champion.
Wow.
I agree.
That's what I think.
Beef takes.
Whoever wins this game is your national champion.
I think any of Maryland, Florida, and Texas Tech, the winner of that is your
champion. No one can guard Walter Clayton. He's a bucket. No one can guard Toppin. And if Maryland gets in,
someone's going to have to guard someone in that game, though, Drew.
I understand that, but I'm just saying once they get past.
Yeah, I got you, dude.
You know my point.
So Texas Tech to the Final Four is what we have here.
Yes,
we have.
All righty. Let's head to
Great
the right
pick.
side. Let's head to the east.
Sorry, boys.
We got Duke and Oregon. I mean, we just keep rolling with Duke.
Yeah.
I don't see why
Yeah.
not.
Send the
Yeah.
Blue Devils going.
All right. Quick and easy. Bama, Wisconsin. Guys, we talk about Nate Oates and what he's been able to do in the tournament. Can Greg Gard get over this hump and send the Badgers to the Elite Eight? Drew.
Now I'm looking back at this. I really, I really wish I picked VCU here. Not that I'm saying they could have beat Bama, but these are two teams that are very inconsistent, and they're gonna have a week off. Or not a week off, like 4 days off. You know what I mean? Yeah, you guys get your laughing one in, whatever. Just because I like this
I'm not even
Wisconsin,
laughing at the week off, so don't worry about it.
uh, just because I like Wisconsin, but I think Alabama, if this matchup actually happens, I think they're gonna run them out of the gym. Alabama's more physical. They're can run up the court. I'm just gonna take Bama here. I think they just have a lot of bad matchups in this game for them. Grant Nelson, Cliff Amari, Sears. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know three guys on Wisconsin that can guard all three of them. Steven Carell can't guard Amari. I don't know who will guard Grant Nelson.
He did it for 3 years when Cliff was at Rutgers, bro.
Okay, yeah, but this is
Whatever.
this,
Give me Wisconsin. They match up with Bama perfectly if they just slow the game down a little bit and they force Mark Sears the shot chuck. If we have Wisconsin beating VCU, well, the winner of Wisconsin, VCU, or BYU, whoever wins that, I'm taking to the Elite Eight anyways. Give me Wisconsin. I think they match up with Bama perfectly. All 5 guys for Wisconsin can shoot. How the hell is Cliff going to guard Crowell out on the 3-point line?
Hey man, I can't. You know what? Yeah.
3's worth more than 2.
I agree. I agree.
Drew, put the Badgers in the Elite Eight. I think this is a game where John Tanji goes for 30.
Yes.
And
Taji's better than Mark Sears, bro.
And for those who know me, a broadcaster and a member of the media, I'm a sucker for a good storyline. Duke, Wisconsin in the Elite Eight. This was the 10-year anniversary of their national championship game back in 2015. So that's all you need to know on my end as to why they'll be there. So Duke, Wisconsin will be the final 2 teams out in the East region. Let's scroll down to the Midwest to close things out before we get to the Final Four. Well, oh no, that's right. Sorry, Drew. You're right. Let's get to the end here. Duke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys.
Okay,
I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I got Wisconsin in my other bracket, Final Four. I was just trying to make this bracket a little different, but I love this Badgers team. I actually do think they could beat Duke. I really have high hopes.
Didn't you just say Alabama? Like not even 2 minutes ago?
I did, but the reason I'm explaining my reasoning. I'm saying it because I wanted the bracket to be different because I have Wisconsin already in my Final Four, so I'd like a different outcome. Do you get what I'm saying?
But we're making a bracket as a
do you get what I am saying? Shut up, Butters.
Give us
okay,
Duke.
Yes. Okay.
Duke. Put the Dukies in there.
I'm really not yeah, okay, whatever.
All fair points to be made there, Drew. This is a fun matchup we have here in the Sweet 16. An 8-5, Gonzaga taking on Clemson. I have neither one of these teams in my personal bracket here in the Midwest, or do I? No, I have the exact opposite. I have Houston taking on McNeese, so this is not a matchup for me. But yeah, let's just take the Zags. Let's keep it rolling. I don't see why not. At this point, we already took them to beat Houston. Why not have?
This isn't even. I'm gonna be honest with both you guys. You already know my love for the Zags. This isn't even be a close game. This is gonna be a game where Graham Ike has 25, 15 rebounds, 10 plus easy. I'm hammering the spread if this game actually happens. Easy money. Probably gonna be if this game happens, it'll probably be 4.5 Zags.
Wow, you heard it here first, guys. Make sure to come back to this podcast. I'm sure we're all going to be really right. This is actually the matchup I have in the Sweet 16 in my bracket as well, along with Kentucky and Tennessee.
I'm taking the 3, no way.
Yeah, crazy, right? No, I say that because you just never know. But you're right. This bottom half is wild. I mean, I didn't have the 8 and the 5 up top, so that was a differing opinion as well. The run for Kentucky comes to an end here. Great first season for Mark Pope, but there's just so many different avenues in terms of scoring for this Tennessee team. I like Ziegler as well. He's fun to watch, and I think he's too much for them to handle, and I have them moving on.
Give me Kentucky. They swept Tennessee in the regular season, and I don't believe it's hard to beat a team
Hard to
three
beat a team 3
times.
times, man.
I don't believe in that at all. I think Mark Pope, just his style. It's hard for Rick Barnes to adjust to it. And Rick Barnes is the most overrated coach in college basketball, and he can't win in March.
Bingo.
Give me Mark Pope, and give me the Kentucky Wildcats.
I'm also gonna pick the Wildcats.
All right. We have a 3 and an 8.
And
Wildcats moving on. And
and
who
let
is
me
going to the Final Four, Drew? Tell us.
Gonzaga.
JP.
Let's ride the Zags.
Let's do it. Let's put the Zags in the Final Four. Let's do it. Why not?
And I can't wait till everyone comes after me and hunts me down.
After they lose to
why'd you
Georgia.
pick the Zags over Georgia? Come on, they got Asa Newell. What are you doing?
I like this accent.
And then I'm gonna give him my finger and tell him to kick rocks. Hand him a $20 bill and get out of here. All right, now the Final Four. Are you gonna add anything, guys? My bad. Sorry.
No, I mean I don't have either one of these teams in the Elite Eight.
Man, Gonzaga.
That's me, the Beav. I got the Zags. All right, let's do it. Let's head to the Final Four. Let's round this show off here, guys. For the Just Beavin bracket, we have 2 1s, a 3, and an 8. Auburn, Texas Tech, Duke, and Gonzaga. Let's start on the left side, guys. JP, your love for the Red Raiders, does it get them into the national title game? As we've kind of already known.
Yes, it does. Yes, it absolutely does. I am obsessed with this Texas Tech team. I love JT Toppin, if I haven't said it enough on this podcast. I love Auburn, though. I love Bruce Pearl. I think he's a top 10 coach in the country. I really wish we would have came to Indiana. But yeah, shout out to the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I think they get back in the big dance.
Beaver.
I'm staying with JP, man. I think this could be a great matchup for Auburn Tech. Oh my God, this Toppin Broom matchup could feed families. I can't wait to watch this matchup, and I don't know why I'm saying I can't wait. It's gonna happen. So, here we go, boys, and if we have any girls watching this, you're looking at our Final Four, and I am taking the Red Raiders to advance.
I would take Auburn hypothetically, but I don't have either. I have Michigan State and Florida. So once again, this is all different for our side. I also don't want us all to agree on everything. So for me, I would take the Tigers, but we have the Red Raiders, guys. I have them facing the Duke Blue Devils. I'm sorry, Drew. Your Zags are done here. And I mean, Duke's just going to be too much. So I'll have Blue Devils and Cooper Flag playing for the national title on April 7th in San Antonio.
Good night. Good night to the Zags here. Give me the Dukies.
I say we roll up the Zags, man. I mean, I think
good night to the Zags.
I think Graham Mike's too much for Cooper Flag.
It is too.
Take the bottle and the keys away from Mark Few. Give us the Dukies.
All right, for the national title, I'll get my pick out of the way as well first here. I'm taking Duke. I know that's super boring. I'm sorry to all those who were hopefully expecting something else, but I'll take the Blue Devils. JP's brought up Ken Pom so much. I last year is different with UConn, right? We said, don't overthink it. And they won back-to-back. This isn't necessarily a don't overthink it thing because this is a different Duke team than what we've seen previously. They're just so damn good. And I know there's a lot to hype with Texas Tech. This would be an awesome championship game. I would love it if this was the title game. But I will take Duke on this hypothetical and this Just Beavin bracket to be our champion.
Yeah, I'm also going to take Duke.
Oh, no. The Red Raiders.
I'm
logging off.
I have a bracket just not similar, but with Texas Tech winning. I have made one with Duke winning. I already have Texas Tech in the championship. It'd be fun either way. But yeah, I mean, if you didn't say the words Ken Pom, I was gonna pick Texas Tech, but you reminded me this is the best team in Ken Pom history. In the history of Ken Pom tracking, give me Duke here. And I love Cooper Flag. I hate Duke, but I love Cooper Flag. So
we've lost the Beaver. Drew, you can select Duke as our Just Beavin champion this year whenever you're ready. I don't know why you're so upset,
bro.
I don't know why you're so upset.
I hate this team. I hate Duke. I will never, ever, I don't care how good they are. I will never pick them to win a tournament. I'll take them to my Final Four, sure. Take them to the final game.
Then you won't win the bracket challenge.
You won't win our
well, that's fine.
Or our Beaver Fest
I'll just stare off the space and say, damn, I should have really took my Duke Blue Devils. But guess what? They aren't winning.
Points 153. Right off the dome.
Yes.
Right there.
Do it. I didn't have a number in mind, so if JP had one right off the dome, go for it.
Yeah, that's 77 to 76. So
All right, Drew, can we zoom
should we
out a little bit?
scroll out?
Just a little. There you have it, folks. There's our final four, our champion, the Duke Blue Devils. Congratulations, you are the Just Beavin 2025 men's basketball champion. We have just a few minutes left here. First of all, if you've stuck through this entire episode, thank you. I doubt any of you will, but we thank you. This is our first non-football related episode. Honestly, when we look at the calendar year, this will probably be the only time we don't talk about football on the show. But we're all, even everyone else in the league, everyone's a big college basketball fan, so it's hard not to fill out a bracket and talk ball with the fellas for a couple of hours. Drew, before we log off, you said our very own, our league member, our good friend Luke Hunley had 3 bullet points about the tournament that you wanted to share on the show.
Yes, I did. I'm just gonna do a quick rundown.
You said it was quick, so I'm gonna trust you.
It is. So his number one prediction is he has UNC to the Elite Eight.
Okay.
What do you guys think of that, boys?
I don't think
I'm
it'll
okay
happen,
with it.
But
yeah. Here's my biggest one.
You mean his?
Well, I'll save this one for last. All right, second one, Maryland to the Final Four. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay with it.
Yep.
It's whatever. It probably won't happen, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Biggest mind blowing right here. His last thought. Florida out of the tournament round 2.
Yeah, no, that's such a generic pick because of the UConn logo. That pick's horrible. See you later. That's a terrible pick, Luke. I hope you actually watched this far and you know how bad that pick is. It's horrible. Get back in the tractor. That's a terrible pick.
You took my line. I was going to say that exact thing.
Man.
Stick to farming. It's okay. We love you, Luke. No, you're good. Love it.
Just Beavin. Let's celebrate.
Love the takes being dropped here. Yes, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate an awesome weekend that is about to get going here. This will drop early Thursday morning. So if you're getting in right before the tournament, you want any great bracket advice, you know where to find us right here on the Just Beavin podcast. We will be back next week. It'll be me and JP doing our second mock draft. Super stoked and very much looking forward to that. The longest episode potentially in the history of the Just Beavin podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will catch you next week.